It's either work at McDonald's or the corner store, a quick money.
You've seen the title, you've seen the thumbnail, you already know what this video is. I figured it would be a bad idea to waste your time with too long of an introduction. The customers never write 3, let's just hop right into it. You see, the second time that I was working at the McDonald's, as I've stated before and I'll state again, I did work there twice in 2 different time periods. One right after high school, a little bit in the middle of high school, and then another one during 2020. I was working during coronavirus, COVID-19, during the second time. And because of this meant that there was a little bit of a different operating procedure than the one that I was accustomed to from my previous employment there. No one was allowed inside the building if they were not working there. We were operating purely on the drive-thru, and you could walk up and order while outside. No one could read the sign, though. We had many signs that said you were not allowed inside of the building, that you could not come in. Even the bathrooms were closed, the lobby was closed, everything like that. We had them very visible. At some points, they would even take those big, this floor is wet, those wet floor signs, those cones that they had, the giant ones, and they would set them outside with a piece of paper taped to them that would really catch your eye, and still people would think, no, that sign isn't for me. The amount of times we had to tell people to leave because someone had forgotten to lock a door and they had walked on in was just outright outstanding, alright? No one ever thought that the sign was for them, and it was it was completely and totally disgusting to me personally because, I honestly don't care about the lockdowns or anything. I just don't want to talk to these people, That was the thing that I actually did enjoy about working at the McDonald's the second time there. I'm not too big on interacting with society at large. If I can get out of interacting with society at large, I'll do it. I'll try my damnedest to do that. But whenever they went out of their way to try to get some face-to-face contact, where it's like you're standing here, I'm standing here, I didn't enjoy that, I enjoyed the lockdowns because I didn't have to deal with the, unwashed masses as much as I used to, but, I'm getting a little bit off topic. Like I said, everyone thought that the sign was not for them, and it was a lot of these old people who would come in and see it. I can kind of excuse them because, they probably have bad eyes, but at the same time, we kept having to tell the exact same suspects over and over again that they weren't allowed inside, and it's just like, okay, you haven't been allowed inside a building for a year. What do you think that has changed, right now? What changed within the last week, or, the last day, or the last 10 minutes that made it to where you couldn't come in? You haven't been allowed in places for a year. These lockdowns are never gonna end. That's an entire video in and of itself, but like I said, I'm getting a little bit off topic. Everyone complained, and I do mean everyone, including people from out of state who had no real right to complain, in my opinion, because you're not from here. Go back to Illinois, go back to Indiana, you filthy Hoosier. You don't belong here. Everyone complained, but I think that they are of that opinion that their opinions still matter. Something that everyone needs to get through their head is that 99% of the time your opinions don't matter one bit, and they aren't going to do anything to change anything if you're just saying, well, I think that this should be changed, because it honestly doesn't matter. I'm just saying, I'm fairly certain it was more profitable to just keep the lobby closed because, you can get everyone coming through the drive-thru. You don't have to worry about people messing up the inside store and everything like that. There's no such thing as free refills when you're coming through the drive-thru, so everyone has to buy a new cup every single time. There's a lot of reasons why it's probably more profitable, and I just don't think, I think that we're moving straight to the drive-in only, the drive-thru only economy. I digress. Basically put, all you need to know is that people couldn't read the sign, and it was very annoying. Another thing I can remember happening was that there were these people who would they'd think that their food was didn't look the way it was supposed to, and then they would demand free food because of it. And I mean, this is just a common enough thing, but I remember there was this one time, this old dude came through the drive-thru. Again, this is the second time there. A lot of these stories take place during the most recent time that I was there because, memory's a little touch and go. So some of the older stories leave in my head a little bit sooner than normal, but these more recent stories are just funnier. So this old dude comes through and he gets 2 cheeseburger meal, I think, or something like that. Or no, he got a quarter pounder meal. And so he comes through and then he parks and then he comes on over to the window on foot, which you aren't supposed to do because, that's at risk of getting ran over by a vehicle. And he started just getting just obscenely mad at the person who was in the window. It wasn't me, but he was getting mad thinking that there was mold on his burger. Now, that's something that a fast food joint would take very seriously. That's something that any restaurant takes seriously. Anywhere that's serving food, you have to take that seriously. But it wasn't mold. Now, I don't know about you, but I know what mold looks like when it's on bread, alright? It's greenish or gray, and it's like got a weird texture to it, and it spreads a little, you know, here and there. Mold has a very distinct look whenever it's on bread. Mold has other looks whenever it's on other things, like perhaps if you get a couch cushion wet and you like don't dry it out properly and you just leave it in like a moist environment for a while, it'll get mold on it, and it could be like black, or it could have like white spots. I remember that happened one time with this couch that my sister had moved, and it had started raining while we were moving it, and they just brought it on inside and tried drying it off, and they didn't do a good job with it. It had white spots on it. Well, this old dude's bread, his bun on the bottom of it had a bunch of white spots on it. But the thing is, it wasn't mold. And we looked back and we saw that yes, there were other buns that also had white spots on them, but they weren't mold. This is one of the key components of bread, you see. You know how you make bread? It is water, yeast, salt, and flour. And sometimes you will see little bits and pieces of flour, little chunks that can sometime find their way into the final product after it's been baked. This man looked at bread. This man, who was way older than me, supposedly more experienced, obviously thought he knew what he was talking about, but he didn't. Looked at his bread and saw little flour splotches and thought they were mold, and demanded more food because of it. Demanded a different, like, new homemade sandwich and everything. Not homemade, it was made by fast food, but you know what I mean. He demanded a new fresh sandwich because of it. And you know, it's just people like this that would get under my skin a little bit, because you know they're dumb, but you know you aren't allowed to you aren't allowed to say that they are dumb whenever you're working there. You know, he demanded new food. It was just dumb. You know, there were plenty of people who also tried to intentionally confuse order takers and the people at the windows to try to get free food too. That's something else I always hated, was whenever they tried to get free food for something. Like there was this lady who came through, and she had done this before. I had been told she had done this several times, but she had come through this time and ordered like an absurdly large amount of food, just buku food, all right, just way too much food. She had an entire car full of people, and whenever we handed it back to her, you know, she does that thing that all dumb, like, fucking fast food patrons do, where they start looking through their food while they're sitting there at the window holding the line up, running the numbers up and everything like that, running the times up. Don't do that. It's a fucking dick move. Even if they messed your shit up, they'll find a way of fixing it. Just pull on down, you know, and let other people get their food. You are the bad guy here is what I'm trying to say. She held up the line for 10 minutes, and she very angrily knocks on the window and says, I ordered so-and-so amount of fries, you know, a couple of extra small fries. I think when it came down to it was that she said she had ordered 3 extra small fries, but she had not had them on the receipt. So effectively, this is something that she would do several times. She would say that she ordered a certain amount of food, and she didn't actually order that amount of food. And they would eventually just say, okay, it'll be easier to get her out of here quicker, because she would come in during rush hour every single time and hold up the line for 10 minutes, all the while screaming about how she had places to be. You know, if you really had places to be, you wouldn't be sitting here belly aching over like more food, you big fat ass. So she was screaming that she needed 3 more small fries that were not added to her order, and like I said, held up the line for 10 minutes bitching and moaning about these 3 extra orders of small fries. Now that is just dumb, alright, in my opinion. That's just like, you're being an asshole, you're being a dick, and you're being just the worst sort of person, you know? Like, giving these people lip, and they like, you're giving lip to minimum wage is what I'm trying to say, alright? You know, life is tough for these people, alright? Being a wage slave is one thing, being a wage slave at a fucking fast food joint is something else entirely. Believe me, I know. I've been in that situation 2 times in my life, and it was miserable. Working at factories, you get more humane people and humane treatment, alright? Literally, like, you know, there are some good people who would come through the drive-thru, alright? I try my damnedest to, you know, be accommodating to the people who work there because, you know, solidarity and whatnot, but holy shit, the majority of people who would come through, I do not have positive memories about them. Like, a lot of the people who come through the drive-thrus, I've ranted and raved about it long enough, I feel like, but I mean, they just don't get it, they don't understand it, and they think that they could do it easier. But, you know, I'm reminded of a story that my mom used to tell me. You know, I love my mom, but holy shit, does she seem to take it personal if someone, like, fucks her order up, you know? I remember her telling me, though, whenever she was, like, you know, I think it was during the 80s or the 90s, she went and tried to get a job at a McDonald's, and she was there for a total of 12 minutes. Now, keep in mind, that story, every time she tells it, the amount of time she's there goes up. So she told me it originally, it was like 2 minutes, then 4 minutes, then 12 minutes, then 2 hours and whatnot. Now it's like she watched all of the training videos and then she was taken out to the front desk to try to do like the, front counter work, trying to ring up orders, and she left in tears because it was that difficult and the customers were that mean. That's, I would wager to feel like that's the majority of people out there on the streets, It's like, not saying that they can't do it, but I'm just saying that if they did it, they would immediately have like suicidal ideation, Anyways, you understand my meaning. Yeah, working in fast food sucks, and one of the main reasons why is because the customers themselves suck. If you like this video and you want to see more like it while I do daily uploads, you can subscribe if you'd like to see those. Why not give this video a like? Definitely helps with the motivation as well as the algorithm. If you want to check out my Twitter, it's twitter.com/hail_Keezer. This is it for the video. I've been Keezer. I've never been good at outros. I'll see you next time.